Good morning. I haven't been live here for a little while. Apologies. I was away teaching my favorite thing, Thai massage. So I thought I'd come back with some Thai massage. I'm going to just share a little, it's not really a guided practice, but a practice. Using the map of the chakras that we refer to quite a lot in Thai massage. I highly recommend this book, Eastern Body, Western Mind by Anodea Judith. I'm really far away, but we can't really see this. I can put the name in the comments later. It beautifully describes the relationship between the Eastern viewpoint of our energy centers and how they relate to the stories of our lives, and kind of Western psychology. So it also speaks to development of trauma and certain behavioral patterns, as well as actually diseases, manifesting diseases. And it's really beautifully laid out. So that just as a little background reading, if you're into this. We have so many different criteria to figure out how we might want to approach our treatment, and it could be the person's flexibility, or actually their issues, their symptoms, their pains and aches, and whatever else they might be suffering from. It could be just their general stress levels, or something else that we pick up, something maybe they are asking for as well. And the chakras are basically just a different map, a different way of maybe navigating the body and navigating the treatment. And yes, that requires actually having that present, having a little bit of knowledge about the symbolism of the chakras and the colors and the elements and everything that is involved. And it might be that your map is a different one, that you're going to use more the principles of Chinese medicine, or the anatomy of the body. That's all good. But if the chakras are something that actually resonate with you, and that you might already have dived into in your own practice or from yoga, it can be really quite, I'm going to say fun, maybe the wrong way to describe this, but it can be quite nice to connect with that energy in the way that you're navigating the treatment. And as our overall intention always is to restore some form of balance, navigating by the chakras and balancing those, kind of makes perfect sense to me anyway. I didn't really completely prepare this sequence. I just also want to see where it goes. And it might obviously be that in a treatment you're going to be focusing a lot more on one particular chakra, or the chakra and their directly related chakras, or how they kind of all have stories with each other. But in today's little mini practice, I just kind of want to go through all of them, and I'll go literally through them one by one in order. Now, that doesn't really mean that we have to physically touch always just that area and work on where they are located in our bodies, from the base all the way to the crown of the head, because they also have different qualities, or different movements and different patterns, different elements, different colors, different qualities, and we can actually work with those. So, for example, if we're thinking about the second chakra, that could be that we do a lot of work on the pelvis and on the sacrum and on the kidneys and the internal lower organs already. So that makes perfect sense, and there might be lots of hip opening and all of that. That's the kind of logical step. But could also be that we are tapping into the water quality of the second chakra. and as a whole going to bring in a lot more fluidity and maybe a little bit more rocking and some more harmonics, and that we're working more with the fluidity of the fascia. So it could be that overall I'm setting the tone, but with that intention in mind of connecting with the second chakra quality and energy. So there's actually lots of different ways of tapping into the chakras and connecting with them. And you don't really need all that many new tools and techniques. You'll have already lots in your toolbox that you can use and put that intention into. So I just wanted to say that. I might do some moves here that you haven't done before, and then great, you've got another move in your toolbox. But I think I'm probably going to keep it really simple. So we'll see. I was kind of thinking that might be, I haven't really planned the sequence, so I don't really know how long it's going to be, but I'm thinking maybe half an hour. I know lots of you are going to watch this on replay and do it later. Yeah, if you're actually here live, which I think there is somebody there, you're so far away, then grab your partner, get all settled, get set up, get comfortable. For space reasons, I'm going to be ask my body here, Ben, to kind of shuffle about and move a little bit. So obviously you wouldn't do that with your partner, but chances are that my head is going to get cut off and you might not see everything completely on the camera, but hopefully that will be fine. So apologies for the slight improvisation at times. And yeah, apart from that, you don't really need anything. So let's get settled. Like I said, I'm going to literally just go through the chakras in order. And that's actually almost quite difficult because it's also always quite nice to integrate, and some things that we do don't just stick to one of them. So we'll see how we go. Anyway, I'm going to start here, sitting between the feet. And taking a moment for myself to arrive and to ground myself. Connecting with the earth below me and the sky above me. And coming into my own axis and into my own heart. And I'm inviting Ben into my awareness. Asking permission. You can slowly place the hands down for the first touch, coming gently down onto the ankles here by my side. There is no manipulation, no pressure here, as always. Simply saying hello and making that first connection. Listening for a moment. And so here we can already bring a focus and intention in a quality. It could be that I'm already bringing some earth into this. Root chakra. And so, super basic, we'll do this in most of our treatments to do a foot massage. So feet and legs and bones and really all lower extremity aspects are related to that root chakra. And we can bring a little bit of initial grounding quality into the body. Not going with that much pressure, just really gently to say hello. Up and down along the feet. One place I like to hang out for a moment, and it's really settling down as if the feet are open enough, is to place the balls of my heels of my hands, onto the inner heel on both sides, and then sinking in simultaneously, both sides at the same time. I'm just giving my body weight down. And again, really basic. And just walk up and down the legs. Giving some weight, of course, adjusting the amount of pressure. For the person you're working with, it might not be the case that they can take so much pressure, but something really profound in giving some pressure down around the knees. Maybe not go so much pressure, but you can circle slowly here around the kneecaps. I would include a really nice knee massage and really free up the knees if I was to focus more on the root chakra. So obviously here in this sequence we're really just touching on every part a little bit. And we can come up and also include the thighs. I'm not going like into super therapeutic mode. It's really, in a way, just to connect still as well and get in touch. Finishing here on the feet. It's something I do a lot in most of my treatments, no matter what I'm focusing on, is to pick up the feet. Balance the heels in the palms of my hands, taking my knees a little wider. So I can now rest my arms in here on my thighs. And just letting that settle here for a moment and let the legs drop. Sometimes they help a little bit and hold the legs, so giving a short moment. And then like so slowly, like 100 times slower than you might think, I'm slowly beginning to pull back and create some traction, connecting through the whole body once. So I'm starting at the ankles and then slowly wandering up the legs to come through the knees. And through the legs towards the hips. And so you can get through the hips and through the pelvis to the sacrum. And through, then bit by bit, the torso. And keep leaning back to see if you can reach all the way through the central axis here, reaching all the way to the head. And so in a way we're kind of just going ding, 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 and you can just visualize also not like the anatomy and the spine, but actually going, okay, base chakra, second chakra, third, fourth, all the way. And then slowly we can release that. It's a nice deep breath here. Here I can connect a little bit into the water element, already going to the second chakra quality, and I'm giving a little bit of a rocking like harmonics here. Really soft. It comes, I'm connected with my hara, but it actually comes from my arms. I hardly need to hold the feet. I'm just giving a little up and down rock here through the axis. And the rhythm comes from the receiver's body, tuning into their fluidity. And releasing the legs down. I'm going to walk up the legs again a little bit more quickly. And bring one foot out in front. I'm going to check in here with the pelvis. So I take my hands just below the pelvic and the hip bones that are sticking out, just below it. And I'm in this diagonal. And from here I slide up. I'm taking them, grabbing the skin and the tissues, and I'm sliding up until I reach the hip bones, and they're in my hand now. And then I can give some pressure in, just with my body weight, and sinking into the left and into the right, kind of checking in a little bit with the alignment of the pelvis, if they right and the left are equally free, or if maybe one side is a little bit stuck or not turning quite so much. And then already a little bit more into the water element, we can start to do a little bit of rocking here and come into the lower back, pull up a little bit. So we're already moving into second chakra a little. And back to the legs. Keep rocking. Under the knees, rocking. And I can rock that out all the way to the feet. Okay. Let's grab the feet again, bringing them into our lap. And have a little connection with our own hara, pushing forwards with the belly. And leaning back. So it might be quite nice to, really think about some of these moves that are really going along the central axis. So we're going right along the alignment of the chakras. And then we drop the feet here into our lap, taking the calves, lifting them up. I come up and I walk forwards. And place a foot in front for some stability. And a gentle knees to chest. Opening the lower back. Some release to the sacrum. Into the kidney area as well. Gently. And if the knees can fall out to the sides a little bit, you can go into a little bit of reciprocal tension here. So go into the place of resistance. And then have a little harmonics going on here. So I'm again tapping a little bit more into the water element, creating a bit of movement. And let's place those legs over our thigh. And walk further up. And I know I'm kind of about to fall out of the screen, but that's all right. You can still follow me. I quite like, I know I said I'm going in the order of the chakras and stuff, but I think it's really nice to, early on in a treatment, kind of get in touch a little bit with every part of the body. So here we're just walking the front body. Very soft pressure. There's actually hardly any pressure. I'm swaying my body side to side. So there's a swaying here, which is swaying the pelvis. It keeps the motion going. We're still in the water element, but also a little bit of air as the touch is really light. And I'm simply connecting here with the whole front body, coming to the shoulders. Nests of the shoulders, so you can give a little bit more weight down. It's a nice way to just check in. Move the whole body and have the receiver feel a bit of touch across the whole body. We can walk down the arms. And I like to sit down at this point, sitting back onto my heel. And we place one hand on the belly and one hand on the heart for a moment of stillness and connection. So in these moments of connection, there is no manipulation, there is no pressure. I'm just listening. And now take the hand from the heart on top of the belly hand, spreading the fingers, and imagine you're kind of spinning a plate. So I am rotating around the edges of the plate to give a little bit of first pressure down here into the abdomen. Now, I think every good treatment should have a belly massage. So I'm not going to today in this session, but definitely good to at least touch here once. And so all of the digestive organs and the digestive fire, we'd be already going up to the third chakra, which is fire. And then third chakra, of course, is also the ribs and the diaphragm, and every good treatment should have some work on the diaphragm anyway. So I'm just placing my hands here on the lower ribs, going in just a little to wait for the breath, and then on the exhale, sinking in, and I'm drawing a little bit down towards the navel. I'm really giving quite a bit of pressure here, waiting for the receiver to inhale again when he's ready. And giving space. And again. And then, of course, here we could also work with a recoil, those of you who've already done that. So when the breath comes, a sharp release. And can't not do some rocking. So here we are in the water element, but it's already a little bit more active. So there's a little bit of fire coming in, but really freeing the diaphragm. Solar plexus area, third chakra. Okay, so I'm going to put one leg down, which is the outside leg, so that we can also do a little twist here as part of the work. So Hanuman twist, hands down. Change my knees. I'm starting with a small twist, so I'm sitting way down here. Hold of the pelvis and drawing back. So here I want to focus on the sacroiliac joint, the lower back, lengthening, creating some space. And we can come back. I am sitting a little bit down here on my heel. I'm going to give some more rocking to the pelvis, and quite nice is that you can go under the pelvis and lift it up and let it fall down. So lift it up and let it drop. And then in this position we can actually already come up to the chest. So I'm going to work the chest on the opposite side, taking my hands right across, and we can do a little bit of compaction here as well with the exhale. And almost like pressing the air out. And then on the exhale, on the inhale, a sharp release. A little bit of pumping. And a sharper release. So lungs, chest, shoulders, arms, coming up to the fourth chakra. And of course here, can't miss out on a chance to work on that shoulder. I don't know if that's still, yes, it's still on the screen. So I've got my hands around the shoulder and back toes tucked under, whole body participation. Nice circles. A nice opportunity for a bit of a twist as well. So hand around the scapula. Either you can take both hands around the back and pull up, or actually fix here the pelvis. Sitting back. Hand under the shoulder to place them back down. And place the arm down. Opening the shoulder here. And then from this position also so nice to work the arm. Double palming. There's a little bit of background noise coming from the hallway. That's all good. Life. Still maintaining the calm in an externally noisy world. One hand on the shoulder, one hand on the wrist. Good. So we've already gone right through all of the core chakras here really nicely. Let's step out. So we grab that leg and to stand to release that leg. Very long leg. Giving it a little rock here. I quite like to give it a little sort of rolling shake. Yeah. And bringing that down. So So better balance that out on the other side. So we grab the other leg and step through. So from the outside, bend the knee and stepping through from the outside. So we were doing a twist to begin with, hands down to the floor, changing legs. And I sit back quite a bit, so not very far up. So this is more of a spiral twist, not a big twist. So I can here grab the pelvis and lean back. So from this side, so nicer to see, I can really get here into the sacroiliac joint and lengthen, create some space. And you can come back, hands to the floor, change legs. I'm sitting back onto my foot and little rocking here and sort of trying to get under the pelvis to lift it up. I know it can be quite heavy, but I'm just using my whole body. And then we can come here onto the chest. So I've got one hand mostly on the ribs, the other one on the chest. If you're doing this on a woman, just coming into the inside of the breast tissue, feels comfortable enough, or just above the breast, that's also fine. With the breath. Key is soft hands, sinking in on the exhale, maybe even pumping the air out, going waiting for the inhale. When the inhale comes, I keep resistance and then a sharp release out. The sharpness comes from the fact that I'm just bending my elbows, retracting my hands. The integration here. Rock. And then let's grab the opposite arm. Pulling it up so we can take the hands around the shoulder, back toes tucked under, and whole body participation to create big circles here. And then for a twist, we change hands here. Top hand comes around the scapula. I quite like fixing the opposite, like the pelvis on that side, and then sitting back to create the twist. And under the shoulder to release it back down, placing the arms across. The arms, just the one arm, pulling down. And then, nice opportunity to work the opposite arm here. Making sure it's not so far away. Double palming. Simply sink my weight. So nice break for us. Not so much work here. Nice to finish, one hand on the nest of the shoulder, one on the wrist, and lengthening that arm a little bit. So again, really taking care beautifully of all of the central chakras here. So we grab that leg, stand up. Now, I actually quite like to bring people to sitting sometimes, and I think it's a position that we tend to forget about. But it's a really nice way to get a little bit more into activation, a little bit more into the kind of agency, into also the whole upper body, third and fourth chakra, really nice. But also, yeah, mostly kind of to step back into agency, which I think especially right now, many people are lacking and have lost. So I'm just grabbing both legs here, and I'm going to stand up and come out of the screen, but that's okay. So walk up the legs, bending the knees and crossing the legs over, and park them on our shins below the knees. And ask for the hands wrist to wrist, and I'm going to ask my partner to help me out a little bit here. So keep your arms straight, push your pelvis forwards, bringing them up. So here, for starters, this is a really nice round back place. That feels great. Obviously not working in prone position today. This is a nice way to get some flexion into the spine and also open the lower back. And then we can walk back and bring them up to sitting. And I'm going to ask Ben to turn around for me. Okay. And actually, maybe a little bit sort of this way. Yes! Nice. Okay, so we can obviously do all sorts of things sitting. I wanted to show two moves that maybe you haven't done before that I really like. So for the first one, after you've done a whole bit of dancing and sitting, you're going to ask them to interlock their fingers behind their head and bring their elbows together. And then I'm hugging the elbows in. So I've got my hand here, and this elbow sits in my elbow. And then here I've got my elbow hooked in my leg, and my hand comes to the upper back behind the heart. The key is that I keep my receiver really in their central axis, so otherwise it gets too heavy. No? If I kind of have him back here or over here, and then I've got to take all of his weight. And so I want to make sure that he stays in his own axis whilst we now start quite dynamic movement. So I'm going to let the shoulders and the arms come down first. Here I've got a fixed point with my hand, and then kind of in an egg shape I bring him up, and here I push in with my leg and down and up and release, and then up. Every time it comes up I lean in with my leg so my hand goes into the spine. So we've got a little bit of dynamic water fluidity, but it's also quite active, so we've got a bit more fire in this, and obviously really beautifully freeing up the upper spine here. Right. Oh, releasing those hands. And then maybe you could turn to the camera. Thank you. And then a nice thing also that I really like is to do some side bending. And depending on how flexible the person is, you can have, you can be upright and they just lean over your quite high thigh, or you can sit down more, toes tucked under. And I'm kind of sitting on the corner here. And then interlocking the fingers again behind the head. I'm quite close so I can support him as he comes over gently and slowly over my leg. Oh, and then here we can create a little bit of a lengthening on the side body. So he's leaning back against me. It's also like kind of a little bit my heart to his upper back. And do the other side. So for stability, I've got both my toes tucked under, my strong toes, as always. Sitting literally 90 degrees with my legs on his corner. And then simply inviting him to come across. I can reach here around the arm to lean even a little bit more into this and fixing here. Slowly. Calm it back and releasing. And then, of course, whilst we have them sitting, we'll do a whole bunch of other things. But I just wanted to show those two extra quite sweet moves. And I'm going to ask Ben to come and lie down again, my feet this way this time. Okay. So let's come and connect with the heart a little bit more. I'm going to take my left hand around the occiput, and so kind of at the base of the skull, top of the neck, and create ever so slight traction towards me. And with the right hand, we connect to the heart at the center of the chest. So the right hand wants to go in an ever so slight diagonal. So my middle finger is pointing towards that hip bone. Slight diagonal. Right hand, that's really important because then we are right on the projection of the heart that is projecting forwards and towards the left a little bit. So by creating ever so slight traction with my hand on the occiput and connecting fully on the heart, I'm creating reciprocal tension between the two. And then the hand on the heart listens. And we begin to explore a little bit the directions here. So ever so slightly, I'm not sliding over the body. I'm taking the tissue with me, but I'm taking the hand, pushing the hand away a little bit, pulling the tissues down towards the navel. And then ever so slightly, this is so gentle, drawing it towards me, towards the face. And then as I push the top layer tissue here down and up, I check which direction feels easier. Where is less restriction? Is it down or is it up? And then when you decide which direction is easier, then that's the direction we're going to follow. So here in this case it's quite equal. Just have to decide. I'm going down towards the navel. And then we're going to check east and west, so left and right. Really small movement. So you've gone down to where you can go. That's kind of like your maximum point. And then whilst you're in that, you check left and right. And so again, wherever it's easier, that's the direction we're going to go next. So you keep going as far as it can go to that side. In my case, it's to the left. So now I've got some tension that I'm creating by having slid down towards the navel and towards the left. And now we can also change the direction by rotating the hand a little bit to the right and to the left. It's kind of like you want to go around the corner. And so maybe there is a turn that is more available. And again, we follow the direction where it's easier. And so to me, it's kind of going this direction to twisting towards the left. And then I go again. North, south, east, west, turning, and I keep following. And so at some point it might actually turn into a free direction. You don't have to go one by one, and you kind of just check from time to time if you're not sure which direction it wants to go. And we keep following, and it might be that as you're following, you're also coming back again, or you keep going. You might go really far. It might feel like you're reaching like the opposite hip already, or the opposite shoulder. You simply keep following. So now I'm actually getting a pull over to the right. And coming up after all. And across. You keep going until it kind of finds a still point, or maybe even a completion of the cycle, coming back to the center. And so as we are on the heart here, but actually also really moving that whole tissue across the chest, we are actually already creating a relationship to the throat, moving towards the throat chakra. It's difficult to guide this, as really you want to go for as long as it takes, but let's slowly unravel that and come back to a neutral position. But you could be staying and following for much longer. And then slowly we can release the hand here. And something I quite like to do is, after something that is more still and intense, to integrate a little bit. Here we can soft hands on top of the chest and pushing the tissue and the muscle here in the chest area down towards the navel really slowly. And so obviously that's working the chest, but here, because I'm really sliding the fascia down, I'm also opening into the throat a little bit, very nicely. So obviously when we come to the throat chakra, we want to free the neck and the throat even. We could do something like fish pose as well, and give a really good neck and shoulder massage. I'm not going to do too much here. What I'm going to do is here, placing the hands across the collarbones, pushing in to create reciprocal tension and giving a little bit of a rock here, left and right, under reciprocal tension. So a little bit of dynamic energy going back in here after the quieter heart work. Good. And then here for the third eye, of course we could do also really nice face massage, coming up into the higher energy. Let's just have a little third eye stretch, I call it. So I place my thumbs into the center of the eyebrows and I pull back towards me. And then sliding out with a little bit of pressure here, the thumbs towards the temples. Two, 3 times. Then something I really love doing, connecting with the pineal gland. So I'm just going to make sure that I sit comfortably. And I take one hand, my thumb, onto the very crown of the head. So I'm also connecting with crown chakra at the same time. The other fingers may touch, but maybe they don't need to. And it's a light touch, I don't need to poke. And with the middle finger of my other hand, I'm coming right to the base of the skull, to the ridge of the occiput, just where you feel the kind of hollow little arch of the shape of the occiput. And I place my middle finger just there. And to begin with, to feel it, you can poke around a little bit. And then once you think, okay, that's it, you soften the pressure. So both fingers are very light touch. And then I connect the 2 points, drawing a straight line between the 2 fingers. And that will be more or less running right through the pineal gland. We take a few moments here, simply connecting, and the lighter the touch, the more you can go inside. You could stay here for a really long time if you wanted to. It can lead to a really profound, deep relaxation. I'm quite aware of having gone way over half an hour, so we're going to just finish with a global cranial hold. For that, I come into a child pose here, bringing my forearms to the ground. You could do this sitting cross-legged as well. And fingers 5 and 4 go under the ear, and then the other 3 fingers go above the ear. And here it's really light. We're now in a butterfly touch, in the air element, space element. Very, very light. Holding, and there's no manipulation, no pressure, no nothing. Simply listening and holding space. this is a position that potentially you could hold for 5 minutes or longer. Really important to make sure that you find a comfortable position for yourself. We're simply holding space. And then at some point, slowly taking the hands away. And coming back into our own space. And at the end of every treatment, I ask for my energy back, and I give the receiver's energy back. And I ask all energy that does not belong to either one of us to leave, go. I will open the window in a moment. You can do your own ritual of coming back into your own center to give thanks. Maybe offering this practice to your receiver, so it's not really ours. So, yeah, definitely longer than half an hour. Let's I hope that gave you some ideas of how you can use your existing toolbox and placing them on a whole different map. I'm going to say it again, it might be quite fun to explore because it just offers different depths, different perspectives, different angles. And of course you can focus in on any one of those areas. And always remembering that overall we still want to restore balance in the whole. So it's also nice to connect with all of it. I'm going to come a little bit closer to the camera to see who's there, because I can see there's a couple of you there. Oh, thanks Charlie, nice to see you, and thanks Rita. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you soon. Let me know if you have any questions. As always, please comment below, tell me how it went. I always love to hear, and if any of that was not clear, because of course I was so aware that I showed a couple of new moves and went through them quite quick, ask, get in touch, and enjoy. Take care. Bye bye.